Bruh. This is so ridiculous. Radikartu tanked. Oh my god. Okay, listen. This was cool and stuff, but I probably should win. How about it? Okay, here you go. Well, howdy YouTube gamers, welcome, and today I want to talk with you about Hyper Armor, because you see, I do believe that Hyper Armor in Elden Ring is kind of problematic. It's actually on its own kind of broken, but it is not as simple of a topic like it is like with, for example, Clean Rod Nightsword, yeah? Like, when you are thinking about Clean Rod, then you think, okay, weapon is broken. When you are thinking about Hyper Armor, you can easily come to the conclusion that Hyper Armor is broken, but since it is mechanic that being slapped onto the weapons that are overall slower and usually out of the meta, then this topic is simply more polarizing, like people have their opinions and so on and so forth. I am going to present you examples of why I think Hyper Armor just shouldn't be in the game in the form that it currently is in, and on top of that I'm going to present, in my opinion, solution to the problem at hand. So now on the screen you can see actually frame data of two types of attacks. Here on the top you have curved greatsword, and this is essentially frame data of 200 R1 with the Hyper Armor being activated on frame 8 and the attack itself happening on frame 17. This is example of Hyper Armor that is not bad. It can be annoying under particular circumstances, but all things considered, it is okay. Below here you see different example. It is 200 R2 attack of the Knight's Greatsword, and that one is kind of bonkers. Look at that. It's frame 5 startup after initial release of the R2 attack. It is twice as fast as, for example, swing of a dagger. Now, on top of regular Hyper Armor, there is additional thing. On patch 1.10, not only from software raised like Hyper Armor values, but they added the additional mitigations for the Hyper Armor moves. It essentially means in case of something like, let's say, Knight Greatsword, yeah, that has that like a startup of Hyper Armor on the frame 5 on release R2. Yet again, release R2 being just like you click R2 and that's it, yeah, and boom, frame 5 you get the Hyper Armor. To being able to brain deadly click the button and hope for the best, because on top of just like having that Hyper Armor, like you're essentially trading with someone, you deal more damage than them usually, because like if you're going to trade against smaller weapon, you're going to win the trade since it is like KGS, yeah, a greatsword type weapon, and then you are receiving the additional negations, which means that you are getting rewarded for not a clean type of play. You didn't outplay your opponent, you didn't outspace them, you just gambled and you managed to get yourself in that Hyper Armor frames, which is also on top of that not that hard, and because of that you are benefiting out of huge statistical advantage. It's also important to mention that your Hyper Armor is being activated based off your local player state, which means essentially if you are on your screen in the 5th frame, the Hyper Armor in case of KG is going to activate. What does that mean? It means that if you're playing on the high enough latency, someone that on my screen just attacked with that KGS, he's already in fact in Hyper Armor. I cannot attack that individual before he's going to enter the Hyper Armor frames, and because of the high latency, I cannot also punish him because the gamer has only like these 5 frames, exactly like with the startup, to the dodge. So like someone on the high latency, if the latency is high enough, is going to simply attack, potentially going to win the trade just because he clicked the button, and then I have no room for the punish whatsoever if they are going to play correctly. It is because these frames being calculated on like a 30 FPS, if you are going to look here, yeah, on 30 FPS, one frame is 33.3 milliseconds, yeah? So if you are going to do like quick calculations, then anyone that I'm going to face that has consistent more than 166 milliseconds of latency to me is going to be able to activate his hyper armor in the way so I have no counterplay. This is essentially the main reason that I'm saying that playing on the high latency just literally shouldn't be the case in this game, because it completely ruins the gameplay, essentially shallows it. But this is kind of like topic for different video. Let's get back to the hyper armor. So the thing is that hyper armor is actually scaling not only very well with the high latency, not only it rewards you for gambling, but also firstly and foremost, it works well with pretty much like pretty stupid gameplay loop of mashing out of hit stun. And why is that? In Elden Ring, when you are using small weapons, your every follow-up in the chain besides the last one essentially deals half the amount of the poise damage of the first attack, like, well, approximately half. Exclusion from the rule are daggers, but this is kind of different topic. Because of that and the fact that medium weapons that usually have hyper armor, or like even the heavier one, have enough poise to actually continue on breaking your posture, even on the second, third, fourth swing and so on, it creates very unfortunate case of hyper armor activating a dog shit type of playstyle. It essentially means that someone that is abusing hyper armor is going to be rewarded for playing the game poorly. Hyper armor promotes trading and mashing. Also promotes mashing the moment you got hit. And I do believe because of this mechanic functioning like it does, we as an overall community, and I'm not talking here only about tryhards, but like a community of people that play the game, is overall worse, like skill-wise. People not learning how to play the game decently because they are getting rewarded for doing bad moves. Because yeah, just brain deadly mashing out of hit stun is not a good move. Gambling on the attacks is also not a good move. This is like not a good art of playing the game. Like hyper armor masher is not going to win duels against me. So from my personal perspective, it doesn't really affect me that much. But I do believe that the way how hyper armor works currently, in connection to the way how poise damage works in this game, makes it so that overall community is worse at playing the game, because the game teaches very bad fundamental habits. It basically suggests the player that something is effective, when in long term it is simply not. Because of all of that, I have feeling like hyper armor is simply working against the PvP community itself, yeah? Like it's one of these elements that makes it so that player that just jumped onto Elden Ring cannot become like decent at PvP of this game in the organic way, because pure gameplay mechanics suggest effectiveness of something that just fundamentally works against the very basics of the proper efficient PvP gameplay, that being in duels or in invasions. It just dumps down the player base, and I guess you can have like a few solutions to this problem. One of the simplest solutions would be just moving the hyper armor, yeah, like from early frames to later frames, sure thing. But that still would make it so that the higher latency you have, the more efficient hyper armor would be, and would simply support brain dead playstyle. Instead, I was actually thinking if that wouldn't be better if hyper armor wouldn't activate the additional poise, and we would just receive additional defenses instead. So imagine that, like, you know, someone swings with a colossal sword, and normally they can be interrupted by like a small weapon, like Shamshir, let's say, yeah? If Shamshir is going to hit them before the swing is going to end up landing onto the target. But the defense reduction would be just simply higher than like that 17%. So like player with the colossal weapon could still go for the playstyle that would be like somewhat traits reliant, but would have to approach it smarter rather than just like attempting to rush onto the target, no matter if that would be low or high latency. And well, I guess that's the topic I wanted to talk about. Throughout the rest of the video, I'm going to roll plenty of funny hyper armor clips, and let me know in the comment section what you think about the hyper armor. And yeah, please enjoy these Giga Brain fantastic clips you are about to witness. What we have here? Hello, friendo. Whoa. Uh-oh. No, no, no. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Close call, not gonna lie. Oh. Whoop. Whoop. Let me actually jump over. And let's actually jump here, dude. Whoop. Whoop. Whoa, the goat! Holy shit! Why he actually attempted to jump like and attack immediately? Dude, that wasn't like the greatest idea of all time. Not gonna lie. What? Ah, that backswing though. Holy shit, it landed. Well played. Unfortunate, my dude. Hyper Armor Gaming. It's even good against like TS in setup like this. Wow. And whip. Oh, that recovery is good enough. LOL. LOL. Oh. Okay, that was so weird. I wonder if I can. Wait. I'm curious. I want to see something. It works! Oh, kurwa! Oh, that's so good! Oh no! I got hit. Okay, fucking 3, dude. I have a plan. Kurwa, I need to headshot him for the plan to work. What? 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 Nice. That's what I wanted to achieve. Good job. GG, very fun fight. Good shit. Ah, good. Good timing attack. Lula. I have feeling like I probably... Yeah, I probably should just like a chill. Let me just go with what? With this. Also like maybe that. Oh. Hyper armor moment. Insane GG. Look at this beautiful boy, or look at his beautiful outfit and shit. Looking dashing. Looking dashing indeed. Well played. Alright. Like, this matchup is kind of unfortunate, yeah, I would say. Like, it's well, Shamshir doesn't have a good roll attack, and like, the best way to approach the Scythe is with actually either roll attacks or tier 2 stun. And, well, Shamshir has none of that, so you can just cheese people quite easily. It's just unfortunate matchup for the Shamshir, all things considered, I would say. Oh. Wow. Okay. So this gamer actually breaks my... or different, like has enough hyper armor to withstand my poise damage. Okay. I see how it is. We one-shot in such case. Let's do the one-shot gaming. Well. Wow. R1 out of hit stun. Insane, dude. Okay. Alright, gamer dead. No! Bruh. Wait, he actually thrown him off. Okay, never mind. Good job. Well played. Well, GG, very fun fight.
Fucking brain dead shit. Literally monkey mashing out of hit stun multiple fucking times.